What's up? This is Chris from Blood Youth, and this is my show stories. The first Blood Youth show was Southampton Takedown Festival, and I remember we were super nervous because we actually saw a member of Slipknot from the UK that was hanging around the festival, so that definitely pushed up the pressure a little bit, but everything was cool. It just seems like a world away that day now, but I look back at it and I'm very proud of it.
Who was it from Slipknot?
V-Man, yeah. We just saw his hand, like the tattoo, and I was like, that's you. Probably, maybe the first time we played like a major festival like Leeds and Reading. It's all such good vibes when you're at festivals, but there's something about it because there's so many more industry heads and people watching you, that and also just all of like Rock Sound, all the big ones they're all there. So if anything wrong happens, they know. So it's not like a club show where it's just kind of like intimate and it's just kind of your own thing and you kind of run the show. But festivals, I think I get a little bit more nervous at festivals. So yeah, I'd say probably the first time we played Leeds and Reading. Probably when we got to tour with Prophets of Rage, and we were walking on stage at the Dusseldorf Mitsubishi Arena. That was a surreal experience. I don't think any band really expects them themselves to be able to tour with a band of that level, especially that magnitude and that legendary status, So, getting to like rub shoulders with like Tom Morello and like Chuck D and Be Real and all these other like legends, and then just having to cut all that off and just start walking onto stage to play the songs that you wrote in your bedroom, never really clicks with you until you're on stage. And that was a really, really proud moment because after the show we played great. We had a few of their band watching and they loved it. I remember Chuck D, especially after the London show at Kentish Town Forum. Chuck D actually came up to us and told us that we brought the house down. So I was very proud about that. When we tour with like big bands, I make sure that I like try and introduce myself every time, especially when you're at like an up and coming level. It's kind of, it might seem annoying, but you got to do it, at least try. So I kind of made it a thing. I spoke to all their personal security, because there was personal security on each floor of the Kentish Town Forum, and it was very intense, but they were super nice. They'd seen me cutting around all day, so they knew that I was part of it. And spoke to them. They said, yeah, I can go up, because you had to have like a special thing. And went room for room. Each band member had their own room. And just kind of knocked on the door, said hello and thank you very much, and that we'll see them in Germany for the next show and everything like that. And on the top floor was Tom Morello's suite, and I remember going up, and it was bigger than this whole like bar room here, and it was just like red lit, and there was so many heads in there that was just like so known. Like you got Andy Coping there, you had just so many, just all the big dogs were there, and I just walk in just with my rucksack on, just lost, I do not belong there, still wondering why we're even on the tour. And I knock on the door, I'm like, yo, and obviously like Tom Morello is talking, he's such a character, and it's pretty much the entire room is just listening to Tom Morello speak. And so there's a line of people talking, and they're all wearing suits, and and I wait for about 20 minutes, and it's my turn, and I say, thank you so much for having us. I'm from the opening band, and I wanted to come up and say hello and all that. And he was like, oh, take a seat. And so he sat me down. He sat down next to me. He was like, how was the show? And I was like, and we just come from a tiny town in North Yorkshire, and just to be in that moment, I was like, it was great. Thank you. thank you. And he was just so sound, and it was so like such an honor to meet him and be able to spend some time with him. And he even told me that I can help myself for a drink from his bar as well. So obviously I got up, had a beer, and by the time I'd gotten back, he's a busy man. There was more conversation starting, so I just kind of like took my leave, and I was like, that was amazing. That was an amazing experience. So yeah. It's not really like disaster status, but I would say we were on a Neck Deep tour once, and it's just the most bog standard and just like bare bones worst thing that can happen to a guitarist, and it's the most frustrating as well. We had a photographer out with us at the time, and we were on tour with Neck Deep. We were playing Berlin, and last song, most popular song. I think it was "Reason to Stay" at that point. And yeah, kick into the song. Halfway through the song, my guitar, everything cuts off. I'm looking around thinking like, what the hell? Like, I see our photographer looking like a deer in headlights behind my rig, and I was like, yeah. So he ran, and like we had texts that were just there, like plugging everything back in. I was like, because we're a one guitarist band just now, so like once the guitar goes, it's a huge thing. So I always now I make sure I'm like, you watch this, like it's your life. So yeah, I think that was probably my personal own like hell that happened on tour. We don't work with him anymore. Yeah, obviously Slipknot. Really want to tour with like Korn and honestly just like bands that we've already toured with as well. Like While She Sleeps, I was just talking to a bunch of their crew today because they're playing Underworld 3 nights in a row, and they're such an amazing team to go out with. They took us out on our first tours and took us like through the mud. So like we went to like fucking like Bulgaria, Romania, all these like month-long tours, like down to Spain, up to like Poland, everywhere, and they're just so nice, and they've always looked out for us from day one, and we've been on like a couple tours together, and yeah, just bands like that. I think like, you know, While She Sleeps, I'd love to tour with them again. I think they're probably my go-to. But obviously, if we're talking big level, we toured with Stone Sour before. Corey was sick. I want to tour with Slipknot. So if you see this, probably won't, but we're fucking ready, I swear.